I said my wife will have to quit her job if we get booted from another daycare. Look, me and my wife Rachel both work full-time, and our 3-year-old daughter Mia has been in daycare since she was 1. In the past 2 years, we've been asked to leave 2 different programs because my wife is basically a helicopter parent on steroids. The first place was this nice center downtown. I learned pretty quick that daycare isn't like having a personal nanny. They've got 20 other kids to watch. But Rachel, she'd sit at work watching the live feed on her phone all day, calling them every hour to check on Mia. Is she eating enough? Why is that boy near her toy? Can you make sure she doesn't get cold during nap time? I tried talking to her about it, but she'd get defensive. I'm just being a good mom, she'd say. The daycare talked to us twice about it, but Rachel didn't listen. Then one day, she saw another kid push Mia on the playground through the camera feed. She drove straight from work, stormed into the classroom, and started screaming at the teacher about how they weren't protecting her daughter. The director kicked us out that same day. Second daycare was better for about 3 months because Rachel started therapy, but she still found something to complain about every single day when she picked up Mia. A kid took her crackers. Someone bumped into her during circle time. The teacher didn't immediately notice when Mia needed her shoe tied. These people were saints for putting up with it as long as they did. Finally, they sat us down and basically said, maybe this isn't the right fit. In the nicest way possible. I could see it in their eyes, though. They were done with my wife's daily drama. So we found this smaller home daycare run by this woman named Janet. She watches maybe 8 kids max out of her house, and she's super sweet, but also doesn't take any crap. No live cameras, no constant updates, just drop off at 8 na kiur, and pick up at 5 ikmo. I thought we were golden for like 2 months. Mia was happy, Janet seemed to like her, and Rachel wasn't complaining as much. Then last Tuesday, I get added to a group text. Janet had sent Rachel and me about 6 pages of highlighted contract sections. Stuff like, parents may not text during program hours except for emergencies, and daily reports will be provided at pickup, not throughout the day. Apparently, Rachel had been bombarding this poor woman with texts every single day. Is Mia drinking enough water? Can you send me a picture of her lunch? The weather app says it might rain. Please keep her inside. 20 texts before noon. Janet's message was super professional, but firm. She said she'd only respond to texts at lunch and after 5 p.m., and if it continued, we'd need to find other arrangements. I was so embarrassed and pissed off. That night, after Mia went to bed, I sat Rachel down at our kitchen table. This is it, I told her. This is literally our last option for daycare in this area that we can afford. She started with the usual excuses. I'm just anxious about her. I can't help being worried. It's not my fault I have anxiety. I'd heard it all before. Rachel, if Janet kicks us out too, you're going to have to quit your job and stay home with Mia. Not me. You. Her face went white. You can't be serious. Dead serious. I've been patient. I've supported your therapy. I've tried talking to you nicely about this for 2 years, but you keep getting us kicked out of places, and I'm not losing my job because you can't control yourself. She started crying, saying I was being mean and that I didn't understand her anxiety. But here's the thing. I do understand it. That's why I've been so patient. That's why I encouraged therapy. But understanding her anxiety doesn't mean I have to let it destroy our family's stability. Look, I said, I make more money than you do. If one of us has to stay home, it makes sense that it's the person whose behavior is causing the problem. Rachel got up from the table and hasn't really spoken to me since, except to ask about basic stuff like dinner or Mia's schedule. Story 2. My girlfriend said, I'm going to my ex's wedding as his +1 to show there's no hard feelings. I replied, have fun. Then I changed my relationship status and went on a date with her maid of honor. When she returned, my apartment was empty, except for a note that said, Original post. A 32 male should have seen this coming when Monica, 29, casually mentioned over breakfast that her ex Trevor was getting married. We'd been together 3 years, living in my apartment for the last 18 months. That's nice, I said, focused on my scrambled eggs. Yeah, about that. She twirled her hair. That nervous habit I used to find cute. He actually invited me as his +1. I looked up his +1 to his own wedding. Not like that. God, Derek, don't be dense. His fiance's family is super conservative. They think it's weird he doesn't have more friends. So he asked if I'd come to show there's no hard feelings between us. You know, Prove he's a normal guy with normal friendships. And I said, yes, it's the mature thing to do. Shows we've all moved on. The coffee tasted bitter suddenly. You're going to your ex's wedding as his date to prove you've moved on. Monica rolled her eyes. You're making it sound worse than it is. It's literally just sitting through a ceremony and eating some chicken marsala. I'll be back Sunday night. The wedding's out of town. Phoenix. Trevor's covering the flight and hotel. Separate rooms, obviously. I sat down my mug carefully. Let me get this straight. You're flying to Phoenix, staying in a hotel your ex is paying for to be his +1 at his wedding, and you think this is normal? Derek, stop being insecure. It's not attractive. I'm doing him a favor as a friend. That's what mature people do. The entitlement in her voice, like I was the unreasonable one. Okay, I said. Have fun. She blinked. Really? You're okay with it? You already said yes, right? What's there to discuss? That Thursday, she packed her weekend bag, kissed me goodbye, and left for the airport. I watched from the window as her Uber pulled away. Then I got to work. Update 1. First thing I did was change my relationship status on social media. Single. Within 10 minutes, my phone started buzzing. Ignored it all. Second thing, I texted Heather. For context, Heather was Monica's maid of honor from her sister's wedding last year. We'd hit it off at the rehearsal dinner, bonding over Monica's tendency to make everything about herself. Nothing inappropriate happened, but there was definitely a vibe. She'd mentioned once after a few drinks that Monica had interesting priorities. Hey, weird question. Did Monica tell you about this weekend? The Trevor thing? Girl, that's wild. Can't believe she actually went. Want to grab coffee? I could use a reality check. Heather, wine would be better. Then Rosa at 7 that evening, Heather showed up looking professionally annoyed. I told her it was disrespectful. She said before even sitting down. She laughed and said, "You were too secure to care about silly things." She what now? Oh yeah, she's been telling everyone you're totally fine with it. Super supportive. The perfect modern boyfriend who isn't threatened by friendship. I showed her my phone. 17 missed calls from Monica. Probably saw the relationship status change. Heather leaned back. You know what? Good for you. She's been walking all over you for years. Years, Derek. Sweetie, remember her birthday party? You paid for everything while she invited Trevor. The vacation you planned that she canceled last minute to help Trevor move. The promotion dinner you missed because she had to console Trevor about his breakup. The pattern I'd been ignoring slapped me in the face. I'm an idiot. No, you're nice. She takes advantage of nice. We talked until the restaurant closed. Nothing physical happened. I'm not that guy. But Heather mentioned she'd been planning to skip her cousin's thing Saturday night. Maybe she'd reconsider if I was free. Friday morning, I rented a U-Haul. Monica's stuff wasn't that much, really. Clothes, makeup collection, her Peloton she used twice. The coffee maker she insisted we needed that cost $400. The artwork she bought with my credit card. The throw pillows that cost more than my monthly grocery budget. I packed everything carefully. Labeled the boxes with a Sharpie. Monica clothes. Monica bathroom. Monica miscellaneous. Drove it all to her sister Diane's place. Diane opened the door looking confused. Derek, what's all this? Monica's things. She'll need them when she gets back Sunday. Why would she? Wait, what? She didn't tell you. She's at her ex Trevor's wedding as his +1. I figured she'd want her stuff somewhere safe since she won't be living with me anymore. Diane's mouth opened and closed like a fish. She said she was at a work conference. Nope. Phoenix. Trevor's wedding. Check her Instagram. I left Diane standing there, surrounded by boxes already pulling out her phone. Saturday night, I met Heather for dinner. Actual dinner, not a date. We were both clear on that. But we did take a selfie that happened to show up on my Instagram story. 2 adults having dinner. Nothing scandalous. My phone exploded. What the hell is this? Are you on a date with Heather? Derek, answer your phone right now. This is so immature. I can't believe you do this to get back at me. It's not the same thing. I didn't respond. She made her choice. Sunday afternoon, I was sitting in my beautifully empty apartment when the door burst open. Monica stood there, mascara smeared, hair a mess. Where is everything? Where's my stuff? At Deanne's. You moved my stuff to my sister's. You moved yourself to your ex's wedding. Seemed like we were both making changes. She stomped into the bedroom, saw her side of the closet empty, and let out this weird shriek. You can't do this. I live here. Lived. Past tense because I went to a wedding. Are you that insecure? No, because you thought it was appropriate to be another man's date while in a relationship. Because you lied to your family about where you were, Because you've apparently been prioritizing Trevor our entire relationship. That's not. You're twisting everything. Trevor just posted wedding photos. You're in 17 of them. You caught the bouquet. Her face went red. That was an accident. You're literally reaching for it in the video, Derek. Please, let's talk about this. I love you. Cool. I love the person I thought you were. The one who respected our relationship. I cannot believe you'd humiliate me like this. Dating my friend. I had dinner with Heather once. You flew across state lines to be another man's date. See the difference. Update 2. The meltdown that followed was spectacular. Monica called her mom Barbara. Barbara called me 20 minutes later. Derek, honey, Monica's hysterical. What happened? She went to her ex-boyfriend's wedding as his +1, so I ended the relationship. She said it was just as friends. Barbara, if I flew to my ex-girlfriend's wedding as her date, would Monica be okay with that? Silence. That's what I thought. Next came the flying monkeys. Monica's friends started texting about how I was overreacting and punishing her for being a good friend. I responded to exactly one. She told her family she was at a work conference. If it was innocent, why lie? That shut them up. But Monica wasn't done. Monday morning, she showed up at my office. Security stopped her in the lobby. Thank God for key cards. But she made enough of a scene that my manager heard about it. Personal issue? Stan asked. Ex-girlfriend. She's having trouble with the ex part. Need help? Already handled. She's trespassed from the building now. Tuesday brought the financial entitlement. Monica, you owe me for half the rent for this month. Monica, I paid for groceries last week. My Peloton is worth $2,000. That's $3,275 total. I expect payment by Friday. I sent back one text. Me? The Peloton you bought with my credit card. The groceries that cost $73. The rent you haven't paid in 6 months. See small claims court. She tried a different approach Wednesday. Had Trevor text me? Hey man, Monica's really upset. This is my fault. The wedding thing was innocent. I promise. Can you guys talk? The guy who convinced my girlfriend to be his wedding date wants me to take her back. That's rich. She's crashing at my place and crying constantly. It's affecting my marriage. Sounds like a you problem. Maybe don't invite other women to be your date to your own wedding. She said you were cool with it. And you believe that. How's your new wife feeling about Monica staying with you? He stopped responding, but Monica didn't. Thursday morning, new approach. I made a mistake. I see that now. But throwing away 3 years over one weekend is crazy. Come to Coop's counseling with me. No, you owe me that much. I owe you nothing. I'll kill myself if you don't take me back. I screenshot that one and called 911 for a wellness check at Trevor's address. The cop showed up while Trevor's new wife was home. Monica was fine, just manipulative. Trevor's marriage, however, was not fine after his bride learned Monica was staying there. By Thursday night, Monica was at Diane's where all her stuff was. Diane was furious at Monica, not me. Sent me a text. Diane, I'm sorry for my sister. She's always been like this. Dad enabled it. You deserve better. Friday morning, Monica tried one more time. Showed up at my apartment at 6 a.m. pounding on the door. I know you're in there. We need to talk. I called the cops. She got a warning for disturbing the peace. That afternoon, she posted on social media a long rambling thing about how some people can't handle confident women with male friends, and how jealousy destroys relationships, and how she was healing from toxic masculinity. Heather screenshot it and sent it to me with laughing emojis, then commented publicly, "Confident women don't lie to their families about attending their ex's wedding as his date. Healing from toxic behavior means acknowledging your own." The post got deleted within an hour. Update 3. The extinction burst hit different than expected. Saturday, a week after the wedding, I get a call from my landlord, George. Great guy. Owns the building. We grab beers sometimes. Derek, got a weird situation. Lady came by saying, "She's your girlfriend. Lost her key. Needs me to let her into your unit. Ex-girlfriend. We broke up last week. She doesn't live here anymore. Figured as much when she couldn't tell me how long you'd been a tenant. Told her to pound sand. Just wanted you to know. Thanks, George. I'll handle it." But Monica wasn't done playing games. Sunday, she pulled the nuclear option. My parents called both of them on speaker. Mom, Derek, Monica just left. She was crying about wedding gifts. What wedding gifts? Dad, she said you two were secretly engaged, and she needs the ring back to pay for canceling wedding vendors. I actually laughed. We were never engaged. I never proposed. There's no ring. Mom, she showed us a receipt for a 3-carat diamond from Worthington's. Send me a picture of it. They did. It was obviously fake. Comic Sans fought for one thing. The store name was wrong. The total was $47,000. Which, no. Mom, that's faker than Monica's concern for our relationship. She's lying. Figured as much. Your mother wanted to be sure. Girl seems unstable, son. Working on a restraining order. Monday brought the work drama. Monica called my company's HR department, claimed I was harassing her, that I'd stolen property, that I was creating a hostile work environment for her at a company where she doesn't work. HR called me in looking exhausted already. Mr. Garrison, Shirley from HR said, we received a complaint from a Monica Fernandez, my ex-girlfriend, who I haven't contacted since we broke up 9 days ago. She claims you worked together. She's never worked here. I have documentation of her harassment if you need it. Shirley rubbed her temples. Please. I showed her everything. The texts. The wellness check report. The trespassing warning from building security. The fake engagement receipt. The police warning for disturbing the peace. I'll handle this, Shirley said. We'll be sending her a cease and desist about contacting our company. Tuesday was quiet, too quiet. Wednesday, I found out why. Heather called. You need to see this. Monica had started a GoFundMe, helped me escape my abusive ex. The story she wrote was fiction. According to her, I had isolated her from friends, controlled her finances, and thrown her out for attending a family wedding. She needed $5,000 to start over safely. It had raised $300. I contacted GoFundMe with my documentation. The page was down within 2 hours. But the best part, Trevor's wife donated $5 with a comment. Maybe don't stay with my husband after being his wedding date. Trevor was apparently sleeping in his car. Now Thursday, Monica made her final mistake. She used the spare key she'd secretly made, except I'd installed a camera after the first incident. Got a crystal clear video of her entering at 2 p.m. while I was at work. She didn't steal anything. No, she did something weirder. She rearranged everything. Furniture moved slightly. Pictures rehung at different angles. Books reorganized. Probably thought she'd make me think I was going crazy. Except she didn't know about the camera. I called the cops immediately. Showed them the footage. She was arrested at Deanne's house for breaking and entering. Diane called me. I'm done with her. Bail her out. She can figure it out herself. Mom and Dad are done too. After the fake engagement stunt, Monica spent 2 nights in jail before Trevor bailed her out. His wife promptly filed for divorce after less than 2 weeks of marriage. Final update. It's been 2 months now. The restraining order was approved. 2 years, no contact. Monica had to plead down to misdemeanor trespassing and got 6 months probation plus community service. Last I heard through the grapevine, she's living with her parents in Tucson. Trevor's divorce was finalized in record time. She lost most of her friend group after the truth came out. Diane still won't talk to her. She's working at a call center. The satisfaction isn't from revenge. It's from the clarity. 3 years I spent with someone who saw me as an accessory to fund her life while she prioritized her ex. 3 years of being gaslit into thinking I was insecure for having normal boundaries. The apartment feels different now. Lighter. I repainted the walls, got rid of that agreeable gray she insisted on. Put up my movie posters. She said we're juvenile. Bought a coffee maker that just makes coffee. Not 17 varieties of Artisol whatever. Heather and I aren't dating. We both agreed that would be weird timing, but we're friends. Real friends. She introduced me to her cousin Lisa. We've been on 3 dates. She thinks the whole Monica story is wild but validating. She's never asked me to skip work to help her ex move. The note, the one I left when Monica came back to an empty apartment. It simply said, "You were right." This is what mature people do. They move on. She kept it. Apparently, Diane found it in Monica's stuff when she finally came to get her boxes last week. Said Monica had scribbled all over it with red pen, writing things like immature and manipulative and small dick energy. Diane took a picture and sent it to me with crying, laughing emojis. We're still cool. Last week I got a notification. Monica tried to connect on LinkedIn. The message said, "Hope you're well. I've grown a lot. Coffee sometime." Screenshot it for the restraining order file and blocked her there too. Some people never learn. They just find new platforms to be entitled on. But that's not my problem anymore. My only problem now is deciding whether to paint the bedroom navy or forest green. Lisa likes green.